The most amazing miracle, the best fun that you should not miss in this journey called human life is actually that, coming across this extraordinary openness inside you, this sudden realization.
We do experience this all the time. It's the quality of just being present in our body right now. The point of meditating is to notice them.
I'm in this cell block with 5 cells, 2 men to a cell, and it's just chaos, radios and TV and yelling and screaming and fights. I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares. You know, my mind was just crazy. But I was sitting. I remember one night I'd been sitting probably 4 or 5 hours, and my mind just kind of stabilized in a very powerful way. Even at that moment, there was just absolute chaos. But my mind wasn't moving. And at that moment, there was a tremendous sense of confidence that arose, that no matter how difficult this prison journey was going to be, that I could do it.
Buddha himself actually said, when he was asked what is the way to the enlightenment, he said meditation. In the beginning, you might like to pay attention to breath. Simply notice that you're breathing in and breathing out.
And whenever you notice yourself thinking, whenever you realize it, label that as thinking, but then gently bring your attention back to your breathing.
So you can close your eye, open eye, doesn't matter.
Pueden mantener los ojos cerrados o abiertos, no es importante.
You create space or not space, doesn't matter. You let go. I say, now I'm going to think spaciousness, rest there, like that. That's it.
Imaginen el espacio que está.
The meditation practice, it develops. Then you see the Buddha's teaching become alive. The spacious around you become a whole like universe space.
Why does my mind work that way when I could, okay, what do I have to do to change it so it's not making that same mistake over and over again, getting me into trouble and making things lousy? I know when I do this other thing, things get better and things are expansive and I'm happier and everyone else around me seems to be happier. So just literally mind training. It's a practice. I mean, I think it's a really good word for it. Over and over again, daily. The more you do it, your mind and your body literally like it, and like food, like oxygen, and look forward to it.
You sit for 10 minutes a day, that's great. You sit for 30 minutes a day, that's great. You sit for an hour a day, that's great. What if you sit for 3 months?
I don't know how the me that was like in New York in a great apartment, going out every night, smoking, drinking, whatever. I don't know how that person had enough chutzpah, I don't know, something, to be like, I'm leaving everything I know.
In the beginning, it's very tumultuous usually. It's like you can't relax with more than 10% of your mind. Then after some time, you can experience maybe 20%. It's like you relax a little bit more. Then maybe 30%. Sometimes after a while, you can just completely relax. It doesn't matter what happens. We think we're leaving life, but I really think the point of practice is to engage our life. But I think when we're busy, we don't actually engage our life. So we need to actually sit down and be with our mind in this intimate kind of way.
There's no external input. There's no guy not looking at you in the right way. There's no like approval or disapproval from your boss. There's no like parents to say anything. And for me, for the first like 3 weeks, I just cried. I had everything I could possibly need. It was just me. And yet I was in despair. But I've realized that the source of all my pain and suffering comes from inside. And it comes from my mind. And that's the same for everybody. And that means that we all do so much unnecessary suffering.
You know, if you can show that short term, 4-8 weeks, half an hour a day, already brings significant change in your health, in preventing depression. So this is a great service. And then much longer term, 10,000, 50,000 hours of meditation, that there are deep changes in your brain, in the functioning of your brain.
When we examine these long-term practitioners, we do see that their brains are different from the get-go.
Everything looks good. We're going to set up for the first scan. This is going to be 8 seconds.
With these long-term practitioners, it's just a kind of stable bedrock of equanimity. There's a kind of panoramic awareness where they're able to just take in the large presence of the moment.
Then people might consider more seriously bringing this in a secular way, as His Holiness recommends, in education. In jails.
So I'm going to play you the beginning of the chanting.
In all kinds of professional situations. And then probably around 11:30.
수도 검적이 영리 옛날 로, 사, 냐르 그래 옛날 검 영리들 뒤전도요 그래. 저게 내리는데 좀 발라고요 말이야.
So it's very powerful for Western people because you don't have to turn away from your life to realize the teachings. You have to turn towards your life.
Today, on the occasion of the IBD Rime Geshe graduation ceremony, I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. This event, I feel, is an invaluable symbol of educational privilege and opportunity for women. And I greatly appreciate the opening of this new door for women who have completed their studies in Buddhist philosophy.
Happiness is kind of a funny word or a loaded word, but for like the last 9 years of my time in prison, my abiding state of mind became one of tremendous cheerfulness and joy, which was kind of bizarre. I had to keep it to myself. Kind of the burden of our whole me thing kind of dissipates or falls away altogether, at least for a second or two. And we're just there, and there's no problem. When you see it in these kind of rubber meets the road situations, you really get this tremendous confidence of how powerful the Dharma is, how transformative it is.
So when I started, I knew that some transformation would take place. I think what happens is you break down what seems real and what is real. And what I think you get to, or try to get to, is that the only thing that's real is that you're aware. By far, what you give up is absolutely no comparison to what you gain. It's like completely pales in comparison, even though my hair was pretty. Do the practice.
I really think Dharma helps people.
Hi, Daddy.
Actually helps them in their lives.
This may be the time in which Buddha Dhamma can do the greatest good, and also when the time when there's the greatest need.
Because it actually gives us skillful means by which we can transform our own suffering and stay present in a world that may become much more challenging.
I think the future of Buddhism is really in the West. Future teacher, future teacher, future teacher, future teacher, future teacher, future teacher.
If you stick with it, eventually something's gonna happen. If something's not happening, then you have to do the reflection, like, yo, what's going on?
What's really needed is relatively, realized people at whatever level of realization out in the world showing up and being helpful.
If you have more love, it's better. If you have healthy love, even better. If you have a compassion, it's better for you, better for others. If you have an insight that when your conflict comes inside of you, you know how to let it go, that's also good things.
This is Buddhism coming to the West, and we should rejoice in our good fortune. And we should probably do something with that good fortune.
The only remedy to me, in a sort of like a global level and individual level, is this new revolution of a care, interdependent care. And that revolution could possibly save one's own life.
I love you.
And we as a human being can save the planet.